Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. I hope you're having a good one. So, what's good today? Today's question, and I normally don't do this on Sunday roundups, but I think it's very important. Are you ready for the brutal honesty about U.S. debt? It's as simple as that. It's a no, but do it anyway. Let me wallow in ignorance. Other. If it's other, you must put in the comments what your other is. Go Fatima, what's going on? What's good? Captain Banana, what's good? Joaquin says greetings. And he says the premise of the question suggests that someone or something is going to burst the collective bubble that many are living in. There's no consensus on a solution, so let the chips fall where they may. That's a very open-eyed opinion. He also said there's no consensus on the solution. He wanted to reiterate that. And so much for Social Security. Here's my issue. Ali Diver, what's good? So there are a lot of people out there that really are wallowing in ignorance. And what I mean by that is, how do you not know today, right now, that the U.S. debt alone is over $35 trillion? That's one. Go Fatima, that's right. It's not being addressed right now. The issue that I have, Captain Banana, anyone else watching the Peter... No, I'm not. This is not the show for that. No idea what that is. Good afternoon, Paula. So given the fact that so many people are ignorant to the idea of U.S. debt, let's make it a little bit more personal. Your portion of the U.S. national debt is about $3,500 per year for now, and is going up, right? But these are facts that you can go look up. Like I'm not spewing anything that should be confusing to you. These are all things that you should understand. Stitch is going nuts. That's why I had to go look. When you look at the national debt of the United States, there's nobody right now, and I think some of us actually know this as stated before, there's nobody right now that's got a plan that says, here's how we're going to actually decrease the debt. Period. Right now, what we have are two presidential candidates, and they're both slated to spend about $10 trillion, give or take. Some might say that one is going to spend more than the other, and we're going to have better impact on this one versus that one. I think the fastest way that we can diminish U.S. debt is by saying to corporations, the free ride is over. I was watching a podcast earlier. I'll tell you what it is. It's the All In podcast. And I told you, I do not actually agree with most of their politics or things like that, but these are very smart people with a lot of money, and most of them did it on their own, right? They did it on their own for the most part. So I listen to them just to hear different ideas, and so that I'm not sitting in an echo chamber listening to myself, or listening to others that might sound like me, right? And one of the things that one of the guys said was very, very clear. Very, very clear. He said, listen, there are no more free rides. Unfortunately, I think that what he meant by that was there are no more free rides for the regular person, but definitely keep giving those free rides to the rich, wealthy, and the corporations. One of the guys was kind of like, well, right now, or he alluded to basically saying right now, corporations, and wealthy, that's not trickling down. That's the fact. It's not trickling down. And he's right. Excuse me. The idea is that, yes, Captain Banana, I know paying attention to international affairs is a very big deal, and I do it all the time. I bring you news about what we're doing from a global perspective and not just, here. I'm not worried about right now something going on in another country because I'm specifically talking about this particular topic. Other times I will be, but it's not the protest that I care about. It's why the protest exists. You know what I mean? I would want to have a conversation about that, but sticking to the topic. Thank you for that, by the way. If we were to say to corporations, we're all done giving you tax breaks, right? How many or how much money would we see from saying, no, we're all done with tax breaks? We're all done with that. No more free money from cities. No more free money from the federal government. No more free money from municipalities, because you're basically draining them dry. For every dollar that you spend, for example, for every dollar that you spend with Amazon, great convenience, all that good stuff, pricing, all that good stuff. For every dollar that you spend there, how much of that money do you think comes back to your local community? How much of that money do you think comes back to your local community? And the control of that dollar, where does it lie? Yeah. Studies show that it's about a nickel that comes back to the local community. About a nickel. Are you serious? About a nickel. For every dollar that you spend in your local community, the greater portion of it, 60, 70% of it, goes back to that local community or stays in that local community. Because for every dollar, for every 95 cents from that dollar, that's going up to Amazon. And if you're into crypto, I want you to think about that lack of decentralization. It's not a hard concept to think of at that level. What you're thinking about, you're not sitting in a corner. I didn't put you there. So you're not allowed to go to the corner unless I put you in the corner. Cut that out. She's so cute. Captain Banana is, one of our best in the community. And we rib each other. And I just love how she brings things to the table. Just all of my big baggers bring things to the table. Joaquin, just all of you, just bring things to the table that broaden the conversation. But I really wanted to hit this topic before I get into, looking back at everything, because looking back at everything, this is one of the things we should be looking back at. Now, for that 95 cents that goes back to Amazon, back to a centralized space, right? How does that affect you and your community? I want you to think about things from a broader perspective. And I want you to put the picture together yourself, go do the research, but I'm really going to paint you a really vivid picture. You go to Amazon, you buy stuff. It's great, comes to your door, it's all delivered, it's nicely packaged, wah, blah, 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 wah, wah, blah, blah, blah. Great, awesome. Money goes back to Amazon, right? Some people that work at Amazon can't afford to have their own apartments. Okay. You have large corporations going into neighborhoods and buying up starter homes. They're not buying those starter homes to later sell them. They're buying those starter homes to rent them. They're going into neighborhoods and they're saying, we're going to buy everything that's available in this neighborhood. And we're so great that we're going to make it available to everybody in that neighborhood to rent. Let that wash over you for a minute. These homes that were once starter homes, meaning your first home that you would buy, are now becoming rentals. That raises the bar to home ownership. Hold that thought. Okay? Just hold that thought. You have a lot of people, young people, that have given up on the idea of owning their own home. They're saying, skip it. I'm never going to be able to do it. So I might as well go do other stuff since I'm never going to be able to afford my own home. Because the math is mathing, as the kids say. That math is telling them that same home that used to be $200,000 10, 20 years ago is now about $1 million point something more. What's up, Hutanic? There's a lot of people I didn't say what's up to. I said Alley Diver. Cush Hands was good. Interesting. Create jobs. About to get to that. But these young people are saying, I don't buy into the American idea anymore, this American dream anymore. So I'm going to reinvent it for myself. I'm going to live life to the best that I can. I'm going to do the job that I have and live my life to the best that I can and just, try to figure out what it is I'm going to do when I retire, whatever that means. Okay? So you've got large corporations, and if you looked at the financials that are being reported right now, right? Everybody's doing so well. The greater percentage of the companies out there, earnings per share went up. They beat the target that the street had for them. The greater percentage of those companies. A lot of those companies get all kinds of tax breaks, incentives, blah, blah, frickin' blah. Oh, but they create jobs. Sure, they create jobs so that other people can work and pay their taxes while these companies, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them, get a whole slew of tax breaks. The more money they make, the more power they wield, and the more tax breaks they get. Because these cities, municipalities want them in their area because it brings jobs. But those jobs do not equate to enough money for a lot of people to achieve that once in the past American dream. Owning your own home. Owning your own space. We won't get into the idea of the fact that you never really own your own home. Why? Because you keep paying taxes on it, which means that if you don't pay those taxes, the government can come take your stuff. We won't get into that. But let's just stick to the topic. Large corporations get a whole bunch of incentives and don't pay nearly as many taxes as everybody else. Then you have large corporations, venture capital funds, private equity firms buying starter homes. Okay? That rental money goes back to them, centralized locations. And I'm not spewing nonsense. Again, I will tell you, go do your own research. I keep giving you guys the example every now and then. Go start in Georgia. Go find out about those 30,000 homes that are no longer on the market and who owns them. Then go do that around the country. It's really not that hard. It's not. You can see it happening in different neighborhoods. For example, I told you my son and I were thinking about buying property so that we can rent it out. We're looking for multifamilies, that kind of thing. Maybe even buildings. Looking for that kind of thing. Well, me, my son, my brothers, trying to put something together so the families do well. Now, yes, Go for Team, it's been going on big time and houses are too expensive. Cush hands. This is all verifiable. So now I have the company and I have jobs, I wield power, I pay less in taxes, I have incentives. I'm rich, I'm loaded, I'm wealthy. I buy into different private equity firms, REITs, whatever, and they start buying up these little homes in whole neighborhoods. These companies now control homes because their employees need someplace to live, right? So wouldn't it be funny if one of these companies or one of its owners or one of its major shareholders was a part of an equity firm, and I'm not going to give out any names, but it's there, or some other company that they own that's buying up properties. And so when they're buying up these properties, now they have their workers basically paying them to live here to work for them. Sounds insane. It's not. It's not. And I know everybody's sitting here going, why is Eddie spewing on about this stuff when we're supposed to be talking about crypto? Get you there in a minute. Get you there in a minute. Then now you have the companies, the wealthy doing all of this. So now dystopia is now here. This whole neighborhood works for one of a couple of companies that actually along the lines owns the house that they live in. And they're not just buying the homes, they're buying the homes, they're buying the local businesses, electricians, plumbers, because our kids are taught right now, go get an office job, make a lot of money, climb the corporate ladder, blah, blah, blah. Less kids are learning about vocation, plumbing, electrical, other blue collar work, hands-on work, knowledgeable work. I'm not saying there's not a place for both. I'm just saying that number is decreasing and decreasing and decreasing. So now the companies that you would normally call to handle your roof or handle your electrical, hang a fan, all that stuff is being handled by yet another company that's owned, as you trace it on back, to other companies that even own where you live, and you pay them each for all of these services. Meanwhile, if you are a wealthy person, you can live off your debt. How do you do that? You go get debt. You take your portfolio, you go over to a specialty bank, and you say, I'm willing to take this piece of my portfolio. It's valued at X amount of money, unrealized gains, and you're going to give me a loan for that money so I can go live my lavish life. That loan is not taxable, even though you've now placed a certain value on that portion of their portfolio. Hence, creating debt from unrealized gains. And they'll have you believe that taxing unrealized gains is bad. Wow. How? Right? Because who does that affect? Let's get, the masses riled up about it. How dare you would want to tax unrealized gains? Go do some research, and just in the United States, go find out how many people that would affect. You'll be surprised at that ridiculously low number of people. But who's riled up about it? The masses that don't have any effect on that. That has no effect on us. Other than I've got to pay more taxes, you've got to pay more taxes, we've got to pay more taxes. Because people are allowed to live off of unrealized debt, not pay taxes on that, but still enjoy that lifestyle, that lavish lifestyle. Then you have corporations that are living basically, in some places, literally rent-free, tax-free in a lot of cases. More cases than we would like to own up to. I got you, Hutanik. I know that you're driving and you got limited communication. Let me go back. How about Wild how BTC can live on Cardano both ways. Now BTC smart. Okay, can't get into that. That's not the topic right now, but we'll get there in a minute. No bridges. It reminds me of a song in the Depression where it described living to pay off the company, and every day you're in more debt. Boom. That's like a driving factor. She hit it on the head. I want to read it to you again. It reminds me of a song in the Depression where it described living to pay off the company, and every day you're in more debt. That's right. There's more. There's more. Go Fatima. The wealthy that pays lobbyists. They don't even have to pay lobbyists anymore. It's ingrained. It's already there. The tax write-offs are already there. The incentives that they get already there. They're all already there. They could stop paying lobbyists right now and it wouldn't affect them. Wouldn't. So I'm sitting back and I'm looking at all this. Griff Poll, what's good? M55, I can't even pronounce all that. Well, I'll just call you M55. Welcome. Dennis, 718-212, what's good? So I'm looking at all this and everybody's thinking, Eddie, you're going off on this tirade. What does that have to do with crypto? Paul Tudor Jones came out and said, listen, I'm putting my money in gold and in Bitcoin. I'm staying away from equities and fixed income, and I'm only looking at commodities starting with gold and Bitcoin, period. You have others, Drunken Miller said the same thing. You're listening to different people say all of that. FMG 001 was good. So when I look at that, what are they saying? Paul Tudor Jones said it like best. All roads lead to inflation. Here's something else that people don't understand, and they choose not to because the information is there. Inflation doesn't really go away. It goes lower, it goes higher, but it doesn't go away. Every day that passes, prices go up. That's inflation. Whether it goes up by 2%, 7%, that's the rate of inflation. Doesn't go away though, right? You have companies that are reporting that they beat on earnings per share. Jared, what's good? So they beat on earnings per share. That means they are profitable. They made money. They made more money than the quarter that they were compared to. Again, take this all in, watch the video again, write down what I said, go do your own research, verifiable. Some of these companies have less employees now than they did before the pandemic. Let that wash over you. So they're doing more with less. They're becoming more efficient. They're leveraging AI, automation, all these new technologies to move more efficiently, make more money. But do the little people make more money from all of that? No, they don't. Right? So you've got less jobs that create a livable wage. You've got more people that have jobs, that have multiple jobs, because livable wage. Working hard to pay off debt and still getting deeper into debt. How do you get deeper into debt? Go buy the car that you can't afford. That's debt. You're going to take a loan out on that car. You're going to pay the loan. That's debt. You're paying that debt. That's debt. Not being able to buy your house outright. You're paying a monthly mortgage. That's debt. Most people go, oh, well, I can afford to pay that monthly. Okay, cool. When do you finally pay it off? 30 years. They've got new mortgages out 40 years. When you go get your mortgage, if you are lucky enough to go get a mortgage, go get a number based on your mortgage of how much money you're going to wind up paying out if you keep paying off your mortgage. Go get that number. Right? Go get that number and look to see how much you're paying out literally versus everything else. Everybody on YouTube is just cracking up, just cracking jokes, having fun listening. Inflation is like a tooth cavity; it never gets better. That's true. That's very true. Captain Banana, the cure for higher prices is indeed higher prices. People are killing me. Go Fatima. Grocery stores. I missed the point that you were tying that to. Remember, I'm talking, so I don't necessarily get to correlate back everything. Can you give me a full sentence on what you mean by grocery stores? Clearly, you were responding to something that I said, but I would like to get it right. Thank you. So when I look at everything that's going on now, you have very wealthy people that have made it, that are saying, I'm putting my money, LFG Freestyle, what's good? I'm putting my money into gold and into Bitcoin. Wealthy people. Wealthy. Not rich. Wealthy people. Because inflation has all roads leading to it. And it's very simple to understand that. I just explained it to you in its most simplistic form. Prices continue to go up. Very rarely will you see prices go down. All of that money that these companies are making is because the dollar that you spend is leaving your community and going to one of these companies in some way, shape, or form. If you wanted to break down agriculture or the real estate market or anything else, grocery stores earnings are getting better while inflation goes up. Yep. That's exactly it. So when you think about all this, you can pick out different aspects that affect our country, affect our well-being, by simply looking at what the debt is. Once you're done looking at the U.S. debt at about 35, 36 trillion flipping dollars, I want you to stop and think about how much of that debt is yours, about $3,500 and growing per year. Each person in America, each person. And then think about how much these corporations are not paying toward that debt because they're getting all kinds of tax incentives because they create jobs. Then you've got a whole generation that's saying, yeah, screw that. I'm not buying into that whole American dream thing. So they're doing that kind of thing. Then you have another portion of that crew that's saying, you know what, I'm going to day trade. I have my job and I'm going to day trade, whether it be stocks, bonds, options, whatever it is that I'm day trading in, crypto, whatever it is that I'm doing it in. That's what I'm going to do. G Gale 56, what's good? So when I look at this, I really do try to take an understanding of, what it is that we can do to make our lives better. A friend of mine on Facebook posted something that said, Elon Musk has made a ton of money, but doesn't necessarily turn around and reach back to help bring other people up. Kind of burns the ladder behind him. Wow. That's deep, because when you look at it, I'm kind of like, yeah, they're not wrong. They're not wrong. And then I look at that for a lot of people that are at that wealthy level. Not rich. Because the rich, whether they realize it or not, the rich are the new middle class and everybody else is just poor. I'm not playing. I am dead freaking serious. Go do the numbers. Go look up the numbers as to how much money you need to make to live in a given area. And then take your salary and figure out, where would I be able to live with this salary? The greater percentage is poor. Then come the rich. Then come the wealthy. Once income tax revenue equals interest payments on debt, it done. The other night, thank you for that, Hutanic. The other night I mentioned, hit the bucket list, what's good? The other night I mentioned that Fiat around the world is on track to get hosed. To get hosed. The hedge against all of this is commodities, of which Bitcoin is one. So everybody asks me, why do I invest in Bitcoin? This is why. This is why. I think there are a lot of people out there that don't really think about gold the way I'm thinking about gold. When I look at gold, I think of Go Fatima says, that is scary, the new middle class. Shaking my head. But go do it. Go do what I just told you to do. Go look at how much, you have to make to live in a certain area, and you'll see it dead straight up. You can go get the numbers from the United States, and just say, well, how much does it cost to live in these geographical areas? Boom. And you'll sit there and you'll just go, holy smokes. Then go look at, well, this is how much it costs to live in this area. And then try to say, well, can I get my job that I do now in that area? Yeesh. Why do you need to go back to the office? It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with the productivity that you have, unless you have a job like you're a nurse and you have to be at the hospital. That's, again, not an office though, right? Anywho, has to do with the real estate. And who holds that real estate? You see what I'm saying? So you start to get there. So I'm trying to teach my kids, don't buy stuff. Stop buying stuff. Start buying assets. Start buying things that will make you money. Pay attention to what's going around you. Take that information in and try to do something with that information that will make your lives better. For all you parents out there in the United States, I don't want my kids to move out until they can afford to do what they want to do. Whether it's go live the life of travel, go buy their own parcel of land. But let's figure that out, because as soon as you move out of the house, you're taking on debt that you never even thought of. Right? And most young adults don't really get it. They don't really get it. The tiny little things that their parents do for them, trying to help them pay for college, literally keeping the lights on, keeping food inside the refrigerator, paying the mortgage, just keeping a roof over your head. Just all of those little things that they grow up taking for granted. Some of us try to teach our kids because they're going to have to do that. I'm a latchkey kid, right? You can tell by the white hair. I'm a latchkey kid. So I had to grow up faster. I traveled to go to school. Not because I wanted to, but because that's where the better education was. Public school, by the way. But the better district was where I went to school. So no matter where I lived, that was the district I was going to, period. Right? And if you do the math, if you're renting and your kids are not living with you and they're renting, they now have bills that they have to pay that are going to stop them from being able to save as much as they can. So if you are capable, if you truly want to have your kid achieve more than you, because I firmly believe that my job is to put my kids in a position higher than where I started, so that where they start is better than me. I don't want my kids to be as good as me. I want my kids to be better than me, to have more than me, to not have to think about how to get. Know how to get. I'm teaching them how to get. All of my kids work. All of them work. All of them are saving. All of them are investing in some way, shape, or form. It's not easy. It's tough. Conversations you have to have make you the shitbag. Straight up. But as long as my kids are living at home, I will be a happy daddy, because they're able to save more living at home than they will in any other situation. So this is why I do these videos. so that they can watch these videos whenever they want. I have a private server at home. I keep the videos there. They're on YouTube, all that stuff, so that my kids can learn. And not just my kids, my nieces, my nephews, every kid that belongs to an employee of mine. Those are all my kids. My friends' kids, my kids. When I was growing up, if my mother's friend saw me screwing up in the street, I would catch a beating there. They would walk me home, and I'd catch a beating at home. That's what's up. So that's my mentality. If I see my son's, friend, my daughter's friend, they're all my kids. I watched them all grow up. I'm going to try to share as much as I can. Whether they listen or not, I'm going to try to share as much as I can. So, crypto. Here we are. When you start to think about fiat, start thinking about BRICS, right? You have the BRICS is a political bloc. No matter what anybody tells you, it's a political bloc. And what that political bloc wants to do is create a monetary bloc and move off of the US dollar. I wish them luck in doing that. Ha ha ha. But is it an inevitability that the US dollar will eventually not be the world's fiat, the world's reserve? Yes. It's historically, that's just been the case. Yeah, put your kids on. They should be better off. Exactly. Gary Angie, how are you? I think that's two of you, right? Gary, Angie. And Dynasty Visions, what's good? Captain Banana, it's hilarious to think there's a light on in the refrigerator all the time. You're killing me. Trauma. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Yep. Or hopefully makes you stronger. Some people just crumble. Some of us try to do better. When you're doing your own research in crypto, I tell you that I use a tool that's open, it's for sale to everybody, but I use that tool to kind of keep my head straight. I can't memorize everything that's out there. So I kind of want to know, well, what are the chances of me making money off of this particular coin? What's the coin? What's the dossier that I've developed on that coin? Do I believe that coin is going to hit that GMBX factor? Just to get back to the all-time high. And there's Stitch. Hey, Stitchy. I can't play right now. We're busy. We're working. We're trying to make money so I can keep you, loaded up in kibble. Okay? All right? Go upstairs. And he won't go upstairs. He'll sit here for a little while until he figures it out. So the idea is that he'll jump up again and hand me the toy. Because he doesn't understand that I'm working and I can't play right now. And there he goes, because he's happy that I'm playing a little bit. So yeah, you've got to figure out, what it is that particular crypto is going to do, how much money you could possibly make from that. How can you make it? Where can you make it? Is it a staking play? Is it a business that's parading around as a token or a coin? Is it a coin that's, that should be a business, right? Is it a business that happens to have a coin? Think crypto.com. Kraken is coming up too with their coin. Uniswap has theirs. You have different dexes and sexes and different businesses that come up with their own coin and, try to get out there with their own coin. Not mad about that. Just pay attention to whether or not you can make money from it. So there's a ridiculous amount of news that's out there that happened over the past week, right? In addition to everything that I was just speaking of. So over the past week, what have been the biggest themes that have been out there? Security breaches, regulatory development, corporate blockchain initiatives and partnerships, because corporations are adopting Bitcoin. Not just adopting from an investment perspective, but the integration of the technology into their business operations. More efficiency. That's what that means. More efficiency. So you have those topics that were hitting this past week. Market trends and institutional adoption of digital assets. Yep, just said that. NFT. Sorry, Captain Banana, I repeated myself. NFTs and DeFi developments, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency market shifts. Yeah. So over the past week, if you're looking at security breaches, $20 million was snatched. They eventually got $19.3 million back, right? I don't think they went and got it. I think the hackers gave it back, right? Cool. But it wasn't the US government that got hacked or that got exploited or got robbed. Let's just call it that in the broad sense of the word. It was a Bitfinex wallet that is now held by the United States that got hit. So it wasn't something like the United States went out, created a wallet, and then that's what happened. It's something that exists in another space. They just took possession of it, and somebody helped themselves to that possession. So I'm sure the U.S. government is probably rethinking how that should work. Like, if we get control over a wallet, should we leave it where it's at and we have control over the wallet? Or should we then move that to a cold wallet, and until we figure out what we're going to do with it, it will sit in that cold wallet? That's what I would do. That's just me. What else? Did Kraken announce a coin? Yes, they did. Because they're creating a layer 2. I forgot the name of it, but I actually put it out there over the past few days. Kraken. Let's see. Was it? Kraken announces the launch of Inc. blockchain for decentralized applications, DeFi, with no native token plan. So they're announcing a blockchain, but not a token. My bad. I misspoke. Inc. will support real-world assets, RWA, and lending applications. Very interesting. And then launching early in 2025. So my bad. They're not introducing a new coin. They're introducing a new blockchain without a coin. So think base. That's where I should have gone, is think base. Very interesting, right? Very interesting. Thank you for that, Joaquin. And for those that wanted to know when I said it, it was on October 24th. So 3 days ago. Because it's nice. I take notes and I can go search my notes because that's what I do. That's how I roll. Excuse me. Whew, sorry about that. Then you have, let's see, Radiant Capital. The hackers moved $52 million that was snatched. They moved it. So the chance of them getting it back, you could forget about it. BingX Exchange restored their service. They had after a $43 million hack, and I want you to think about how they did it. Not only did they restore the service, wow, my English today, but they also came out and said, "What up, Mr. B?" They also came out and said, "These are the changes to our security posture." Don't I say that to you all the time? Don't I say to you all the time, when you're doing research in anything that you're doing, security's got to be top of the list. And they came out, hat tip to them, and they said, yeah, here is our new security posture. I don't use BingX, but if I was, in this case, I would not mind going back. Because they answered the question, right? You got hacked. How are you addressing the hack? Well, we got hacked or we got exploited. This is how we got exploited. This is how we're answering that exploit on a go-forward basis. Boom. Boom. That's what's up. Can't post on laptop, had to go to phone. Dang. Joaquin Rivera, go to the corner, please. No. Good try, though. That was a good try. That was a very good try. But you have to deliberately be doing something, and I wasn't deliberately trying to give you the wrong information. You guys get sent to the corner because you guys have smart mouths. That's why you get sent to the corner. So it's fun. Yeah, that's right. It's not the same at all. It does have ads on live. Again, That's how YouTube makes their money. That's how YouTube pays me. See what I mean? I can't control that. Regulatory developments and governmental interventions. Denmark introduces a 42% tax on unrealized crypto gains. Now, somebody had posted when I made that. Somebody had posted that, hey, this administration is doing the same thing. No, the idea is that they're looking at unrealized gains across the board. They're not honing in on crypto in the United States. They're looking at what would be an answer for unrealized gains in the United States, and who would that affect? And believe me, it's not the greater number of people. You're talking about a slither of the rich people on up to the wealthy. That's who. Straight up. And maybe some corporations as well. So yeah, most people are not going to be affected by that. So the rancor around it is completely BS. Pay attention to who's beefing about it. Oh, one more thing about the economy. So we had the 50 basis point cut, right? A lot of people were clamoring for a 50 basis point cut. And I told you guys, I was not feeling a 50 basis point cut. I was feeling a 25. Those same people, or a lot of those same people that were crying and begging and screaming and kicking for a 50 basis point cut, are now the same people that are crying about, oh, we shouldn't have done the 50 basis point cut. We should have been more, we should have been at 25 and done, smaller steps and blah, blah, blah. Really? So I listen to this and I try to pay attention to this, and I'm just like, wow. Sean in the house. What's up, dog? Aren't property taxes a tax on unrealized gains? Too long of a conversation. Unrealized gains, yes. Yes. Because a municipality will tell you that as soon as you sell the house, property taxes go up. As soon as you sell that house, property taxes go up. Who pays those property taxes? The person that buys the house. The person that sold the house pays a different kind of tax, maybe. Unless the trust has it, it's a different kind of tax. But yeah, absolutely. And the municipality will tell you, oh yeah, well, you're buying the house, and the house's value right now, or the house's value before was that. House's value right now is this. But we're projecting that you're going to do improvements on the house, and that justifies the property tax increase. But you increase property taxes based on the value of the home every year. So why is there a free bump on property taxes? Like, what are you talking about? So yeah, legalized racket right there, if you ask me. So when I look at things, I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to keep putting money into crypto because I do not have faith in fiat around the world. I just don't. The U.S. is now investigating Tether over potential money laundering links. And that's causing fluctuations in prices and everything. And I'm sitting back and I'm kind of going, but doesn't Tether help you shut things down with nefarious people? So how does that work? On one hand, they're helping the government, and on the other hand, the government is investigating them? Like, are you serious? Because they're responsible. They can only do but so much, right? And you're investigating the stable coin. Huh? What? That's an exchange problem. Like, whatever. David Kitch, what's going on? So, Sean, also, you know the drill. What's for dinner? What are you pairing it with? What else is there that was something that I paid attention to? The Indian regulators, they're actually leaning toward developing a CBDC. Interesting. The UAE, while countries like India and the United States are floundering on regulatory, on regulations and compliance issues and all that stuff, introduces a DAO framework to position itself as a blockchain innovation hub, attracting global Web3 projects. Meaning that decentralized autonomous organizations can operate legally within the UAE. That's what that means. What they're saying is other countries are not welcoming you, but we will. Here's the framework on how we will. That's for any country that's trying to squeeze the crypto community. That's where that's going. That's where that's pointed to. That's literally where that's pointed to. Sad. Where I used to live, Bucks County, PA. Our property taxes were used to make our kindergartens look like universities. Waste of money. We go back to the notion that the government can't issue legal tender or it's a conflict of interest. They can never set a budget. I can't decipher that. I kind of know where you're going, but I don't think the general population is going to be able to decipher that because you're driving and can't really type right now. I'm sorry. Joseph, what's good? I think I missed saying hello to you. Sorry about that. So right now we have 9 votes. Are you ready for the brutal honesty about U.S. debt? No, but do it anyway. Let me wallow in my ignorance. And other. Wow. Other got 22%. Let me wallow in my ignorance got 11%. And no, but do it anyway got 67%. Interesting. Interesting that there are people out there that would actually rather wallow in their own ignorance and not prepare themselves for what is to come. You can almost say what's here. There are a lot of people saying that there's a real estate bubble that's bursting in different places already. Yeah. How do you think that real estate bubble is going to affect the whole country? Just saying, there are things that people should be paying attention to, and I wish they would wake up and pay attention to it. Right? Earlier this week, I told you about how Warren Buffett dumped JP Morgan, dumped Wells Fargo, and seriously diminished their holdings in Bank of America. They still hold $31 billion in Bank of America, but that's now less than 10% of Bank of America stock. So they're basically dumping on banking. Or he's basically dumping on banking. That's Instabobble. What's good? That's something to contemplate. And if I were you, I'd be taking that very seriously, right? Microsoft shareholders are supposed to vote on whether or not they should add Bitcoin to their reserves. The board of directors is like, please say no. How old are these people? How old are these people that they're thinking that Microsoft should not invest in Bitcoin? Given the rise of different companies around the world that are investing in Bitcoin, including MicroStrategy, Semler Scientific, MetaPlanet, and others, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just thinking, wow, just all kinds of wow right there. Right? But Microsoft shareholders are supposed to vote on that. Ripple partners with Guarantee, BBVA, and IBM to offer institutional-grade crypto services, expanding Ripple's reach despite regulatory challenges. That's right. Germany. No, that's not Germany. Hold on. Guarantee. Where are they? Guarantee is... Oof. I think it is Germany. I know it's not the United States. How's that one? How's that sound? Sad, right? Expansion doesn't seem to be happening in the United States. Companies are drastically trying to increase their reach outside the United States. Just saying. Binance collaborates with Paymonade, nice name, for direct crypto to card sales, meaning I can sell my crypto and drop right onto a card. That's big. That's not small. That's huge. That's further reach of, that's further reach for on ramp, on off ramp of fiat. Interesting. And it's a credit card, of course. Just saying. Just saying. There's going to come a point in time where I'll be able to go into any store and use crypto to pay. And when that level of adoption happens, that's when you start asking questions. So what do I need fiat for? Yeah. Yeah. That kind of thing. Let's see what else is going on. Chainlink and Swift announced an integration at CBOS 2024, connecting traditional finance with blockchain technology. That's huge. That partnership blossoming into that integration is huge. And we knew it was coming. As soon as they said, we're going to partner because of CCIP, Chainlink CCIP, which is their cross-chain interoperability protocol. As soon as they said that, I knew something like this was coming. And everybody was wondering, like, so why are you so big on Chainlink? And, they're not doing anything. Nothing's happening. Well, this is why. For those that took my class, pay attention to how that happens. Again, drop the news. It happens in increments in that news cycle. And they said, oh, we're going to partner. I was already buying Chainlink and started buying more. Just saying. Captain Banana, Microsoft shareholders saying, please say no. It's the board of directors that's saying, please say no. Is like saying, please say stupid. Like? Is it like? I mean, I would think that a lot of those shareholders, or a good number of those shareholders are looking at MicroStrategy and going, are you serious with that, people? Why are you on the board? Because this is what you're recommending. Now, think about how much money Microsoft has just sitting around that doesn't have a clue to do. What do we do with it all? What do we do with all this money? I once said in one of my videos that the hardest job you will have besides finding a job, my mother taught me that the hardest job you will actually have is finding a job. That's true. Still true to this day. Still true. The idea of managing your money is the second hardest job when you reach that level. How do you manage your money? Seriously, think about this for a second. Every bank has a $250,000 threshold for FDIC, right? So let's suppose you're worth $1 billion, $250,000. That's it. But you're worth $1 billion. $250,000 is your limit at any given bank. Again, managing your money is a ridiculously hard job. Ridiculously hard. How do I maneuver my money? How do I make sure that I don't go over my limit over here? Now I have to maneuver money to do. That's the problem that people have at that level. And a lot of people sitting back going, I wish I had that problem. It is a frustrating problem to have. I know a lot of people that have that problem. It's not easy for them. It's not easy for them. It's not. No, it's not a woe is me moment. It's, understanding the new level of thinking, right? Just paying attention to things. Market trends. BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF surpasses $23.5 billion in inflows. Boom. Retail investors shift from spot to derivatives trading, driving October's crypto market surge as derivatives volume exceeds $260 billion. Wow. So when I look at the past week and I look at the weeks that are to come, this is the last week of October. Uptober, as they say. We haven't really seen an Uptober. And I keep telling people, this bull run is not like any other bull run. The next bull run will not be like any other, including this one. Start paying attention. Start paying attention. Hutanic, for obvious reasons, I can't say that out loud because it would sound truly, truly obnoxious if I were to say it. Thank you very much, though. But I want you to think about, how you're going to manage your money, no matter how much money or how little money you have. It's a very big deal. I had somebody come to me and say, I don't have a lot of money to put into crypto. Have $5? Can you stop buying stuff? What stuff is it that I buy? Cigarettes. Do you smoke? That's stuff. And all it does is hurt you physically. But let's that topic. Let's just talk about how much cigarettes cost. That's where you have money. Take half of your cigarette budget and put it into crypto. Drink a Starbucks a week. Take that money, put it into crypto. I'm just saying, there are things that you can do that will enable you to prepare yourself for the future. Just saying. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do, please subscribe. I do have a little bit of a thing that I have to say is members get questions answered. I see a lot of people ask me to talk about certain things or ask me questions and things like that. And when I look up, they're not members. So I'm not keen on answering them. But I do answer, and, I do correspond with my members. Because we are a community and we're trying to grow that community. So please become a member. I'm not begging. I'm just saying it is what it is. Members get answers. They might not always like the answer that I give, but members will get answers. Cortez, what's good, dog? I mean, even if you buy ton and SHIB, you are 99% better than that energy stored in dollars. Oh my God. That was the line right there. That was it. That was it right there. Boom. Oh, and one thing that Hutanic is reminding me of, that this is a channel where we don't talk about politics. We don't. Unless it's like a bill that's been passed, like in PA, a bill was passed by that, PA House, for, Bitcoin rights. Okay, but that's not politics. That's fact. That's regulatory concerns. So it's a little bit different. How do we navigate the political landscape and its relationship to crypto space? I just said it. That's the only way. Other than that, we do not speak politics, period. And frankly, if you really want to tie it back to U.S. elections, it's not going to matter who gets elected. Crypto in the future is going to do nothing but get better because you can't stop it. It's not state owned or owned by any one country. That's why. Difference between fiat and crypto. That's why you see so many countries that want to maintain that control over people say, we want to develop a CBDC. Countries developing a CBDC that try to shove that down everybody's throat, that try to say, we're not going to allow you to take your CBDC and flip it into crypto. That's going to be the economy that's going to immediately fail. It'll be mind-blowing. It will be mind-blowing. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for your time. I greatly appreciate everybody showing up and listening to me and giving me feedback, instant feedback. Because if I screw up, believe me, there are people here that will absolutely let me know about it. Including repeating what I talk about, not providing facts, or on purpose trying to, steer people. I don't do that. If you also notice, I do not steer you toward any coins. Oh, that's the other thing. Me and the team have been going through the comments and deleting and blocking people. They're not people. They're bots. Somebody unleashed a bot to talk about some BS freaking token, and we went through and blocked them all, deleted and blocked them all, reported them all. We try to keep up with that all the time. It's a lot of work, but we're trying to keep this community clean, right? We're trying to keep it clean. That's one of the reasons why when you go to growmybag.tv and you sign up to be a member, and it's like, well, you have to pay to be a member. The reason why is because if you're running a bot farm, you need to have a lot of bots on a platform to drive, your little information, your little BS information thing that you got going on. Well, paying on our platform makes it so that we're actually pushing out not pushing out because we don't have any yet, but we're pushing out the ability for bots to actually sign up and join. And even if they did, we'd be able to identify what's a bot and just be like, yeah, we could just block you. Bink. Your IP address, your email account, all that stuff. We pay attention. We're trying to keep this community a strong and clean community, straight up. Cortez, that's good enough for me. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the respect. Politics separate people that need to be one, for real. Politics are used to create rancor and divisiveness within the lower economic levels around the world. When you remove politics, you figure out that, holy smokes, there's a lot we have in common. A hell of a lot, right? I have friends in Texas. I remember being out there and I was having a conversation with one of my friends, and he's staunch Republican, staunch Republican. And we had a conversation. He looked at me, during the conversation, he was like, it's amazing how far apart we are not. I said, yeah. But the way that politics works, it's to keep us divided and not having conversations. It's to keep us within our separate echo chambers rather, and having us butting heads. But when you sit down and you remove the BS, you remove the lies, and you start talking about facts, that's when you realize, holy moly, we're not that far off on economics. I'm talking just about economics. That's why we don't allow politics to be spoken about here. We allow you to talk about everything about investment, right? A regulation that's coming up, a bill that happened, a new law that's being signed. Those things, cool, because that's not politics. Those are real things that are happening. Just trying to keep it clean. I want all of us to learn. I want all of us to do well. I want all of us to have the access to information that we need to have access to make more informed decisions. Period. So if you like that kind of community, join up, become a member. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you. Oh, out of 10 votes, 70%, 7 people said no, but do it anyway. 1 person said, let me wallow in ignorance. And 2 people said other. And mostly like Joaquin said, it is what it is. So we're going to end the poll right